Ladies and gentlemen, failure is not the absence of success. Failure is the absence of purpose. You see, most people don't fail because they are weak or unintelligent or unlucky. They fail because they never discover why they were put on this earth. Let me give you some hard truth today. Life is not about existing. It is about fulfilling an assignment. When you don't know your assignment, you will waste your energy on distractions. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life lived without purpose. A man without purpose wakes up, goes to work, eats, sleeps, and repeats. That is not living, that is existing. Purpose gives meaning to breath. Most people fail because they spend their lives trying to fit in instead of standing out. You were not born to be a copy. You were born to be original. Stop measuring your life by someone else's expectations. Fear is the silent prison of potential. Many never attempt because they fear rejection, loss, or mistakes. But hear this. Failure is not final. It is feedback. The only real failure is never trying. Another reason many fail is because they waste the most precious resource God gave them, time. Time is life. How you use your hours determines how you spend your years. Don't trade destiny for entertainment. Some fail because they never grow beyond what they learn in school. Knowledge becomes outdated. Skills expire, but wisdom keeps you relevant. If you stop learning, you start dying. Things change, but principles endure. Too many make decisions based on moods instead of values. Successful people live by conviction, not convenience. A dream without a plan is just a wish. Most people fail because they never write down a clear vision. If you can't see your future, you can't seize it. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. People settle for average because it feels safe. But nothing grows in comfort zones. Growth lives in the unknown, in the stretch, in the risk. No one succeeds alone. Most people fail because they keep the wrong company or reject wise counsel. Your circle determines your ceiling. Many fail because they give up. The path to success is paved with persistence. The difference between winners and losers is often just one more step. Decide today that you will not drift. Seek your purpose. Guard your time. Feed your mind. Live by principles. Build your vision. Break out of comfort. Choose the right people. And above all, never quit. Ladies and gentlemen, failure is not your destiny. You were born to succeed, not to simply survive. Don't become a victim of these common mistakes. Instead, rise up, discover your assignment, and run your race with clarity, discipline, and courage. Because when you discover why you were born, failure will never have the last word in your life. When a person does not know the reason for their existence, life becomes a cycle of motion without meaning. Purpose is what gives breath its value. Without it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, with nothing significant accomplished. This is why so many people get to the end of their lives full of regrets. Not because they did not work hard, but because they worked hard on the wrong things. Purpose is the key to fulfillment. A man with purpose can endure hardship because he knows why he is enduring it. A woman with purpose can say no to distractions because she knows what she is protecting. Purpose becomes a compass. It directs decisions, filters relationships, and prioritizes time. Most people fail because they confuse activity with destiny. They are busy, but they are not effective. They chase money, but not meaning. They pursue careers, but not calling. Without purpose, even success feels empty. Because success without meaning is just achievement without fulfillment. The greatest discovery you can make is not what you can do, but why you must do it. Until you know your why, you will keep wondering, and wondering always leads to wasted years. When you discover your purpose, however, your life takes on focus, your energy finds direction, and even the ordinary moments become sacred because everything is tied to the assignment you were born to complete. One of the greatest reasons many never rise to their true potential is because they spend their entire lives trying to fit in. From childhood, we are trained to seek approval, to follow what is popular, to do what everyone else is doing. But here is the truth. If you are always following the crowd, you can never lead. You are not designed to blend in. You are designed to stand out. Crowds provide comfort, but they also produce compromise. When you live by the opinions of others, you surrender your originality. You begin to wear masks, hiding your uniqueness so that you will be accepted. The tragedy is that the world never gets to see the real you, the version of you that was meant to bring change. Most people fail because they measure their lives against society's standards instead of their own assignment. They pursue careers that others said were respectable. They marry when the world says it is time. They buy what culture says proves success. And yet, deep inside, they remain empty. Because living by the crowd script can never fulfill the soul's need for purpose. Greatness is always lonely before it is celebrated. The pioneers, the innovators, the leaders, they were once criticized for being different. If you're afraid of being misunderstood, you will never be great. If you are addicted to applause, you will never fulfill destiny. You must be willing to walk alone if necessary, to walk the path you were created for. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that paralyzes potential. Many people do not fail because they lack ability, but because they never take the first step. Fear whispers that if you try, you might fall. If you risk, you might lose. If you reach, you might be rejected. And so, out of self-protection, people choose inaction. But what they don't realize is that by refusing to try, they guarantee failure before the race even begins. Fear magnifies obstacles and shrinks possibilities. It convinces you to stay where it is safe. But safety is often the most dangerous place because nothing grows there. The greatest inventions, the greatest businesses, the greatest movements we admire today were born in people who dared to try despite the fear. Fear was present, but courage was greater. Many confuse failure with finality. But failure is never final unless you quit. Mistakes are not tombstones. They are signposts. Every setback carries a lesson. Every fall teaches a strategy. The people who succeed in life are not those who never stumble, but those who keep getting up, learning, and adjusting. They use failure as fertilizer for growth rather than as a grave. When fear dictates your decisions, it robs you of creativity, kills your initiative, and keeps you chained to mediocrity. But when you confront fear, you discover that it was an illusion all along. A shadow that disappears once you step into action. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even while fear is present. The moment you decide to act, fear loses its power and your destiny begins to unfold. Time is the currency of life. Every day, each of us is given 24 hours, no more, no less. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the amount of time they have, but how they choose to use it. Poor time management is one of the most silent killers of destiny because it does not destroy a person in one day. It erodes their future little by little, moment by moment. Most people fail because they treat time casually, as if it were renewable. They spend hours on what entertains but never educates. They waste years on relationships that drain instead of build, and they invest their energy in tasks that look urgent but have no lasting value. In the end, they look back and realize that their lives were consumed by what was trivial rather than what was essential. Time is more valuable than money because money lost can be regained, but a wasted day is gone forever. Every second is a seed, and what you do with those seeds determines the harvest you reap tomorrow. If you are careless with your time, you will be careless with your future. The tragedy is that many think they still have plenty of time to pursue their dreams, to grow, to build, to change, but procrastination is the thief of greatness. By waiting for the perfect moment, they lose the moment they already have. Successful people discipline themselves to master their time. They plan, they prioritize, and they protect their hours like treasure. And they protect their hours like treasure. When you manage time poorly, life will manage you. But when you honor time, you align yourself with purpose. The wise do not just count days, they make days count. One of the quietest reasons people fail in life is because they stop growing. Growth is not automatic. It must be intentional. Too many believe that once they finish school, once they get a job, once they reach a certain stage, they no longer need to invest in themselves. But life keeps changing. And the moment you stop learning, you begin to fall behind. What once worked eventually becomes outdated. And without growth, you become irrelevant in a world that never stops moving. Neglecting personal growth means settling for yesterday's knowledge to fight today's battles. It means relying on old skills to solve new problems. It means assuming that effort alone is enough when wisdom and discipline are what truly sustains success. Many people wonder why opportunities pass them by. Often it is because they never prepared themselves to recognize or handle them. Growth sharpens your vision, expands your capacity, and equips you for the next level. Those who fail to grow usually invest more in comfort than in character. They spend more on appearance than on wisdom, more on entertainment than on education. But success is built on the foundation of self-mastery. Reading, listening, seeking mentorship, practicing discipline, these are not luxuries. They are necessities for anyone who desires lasting impact. The truth is, no one can rise beyond the limits of their mind. If you refuse to grow, your life will shrink to the size of your ignorance. But if you commit to growth, you expand your possibilities and doors that seemed locked begin to open. Your future will always be determined by what you are willing to put into yourself today. The greatest investment you can ever make is not in possessions, but in your own development. Many lives are shipwrecked because they are steered by emotions instead of anchored in principles. Feelings are real, but they are not reliable. They rise and fall like the tides. One day you feel motivated, the next day you feel discouraged. One moment you feel love, the next moment anger. Today you're committed, tomorrow you want to quit. If you allow these shifting winds to direct your decisions, your life will lack stability and consistency. Principles, on the other hand, are unchanging truths. They are steady like the laws of gravity. When you build on them, you create a foundation that cannot be shaken by moods or circumstances. Those who succeed in life are not necessarily the most talented, but they are the most disciplined. They choose to live by conviction rather than convenience, by values rather than impulses. When people live by emotions, they make promises they don't keep, they start projects they never finish, and they destroy relationships with words spoken in anger. Feelings may give temporary satisfaction, but they often create permanent damage when not governed by principle. A life led by emotions will always be reactive, but a life led by principles is proactive and intentional. Greatness requires mastering yourself. You cannot control the winds of life, but you can control your response to them. Discipline is choosing what is right, even when it is not easy. Integrity is doing what is correct, even when it is not popular. These are principles that keep you steady when emotions are unstable. Those who build their lives on emotions end up with regret. But those who build on principles create legacies. The difference is simple. Emotions focus on the moment. Principles focus on the future. When you choose principles over feelings, you choose purpose over pleasure, destiny over distraction, and permanence over passing moods. Many people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack vision. Vision is the picture of your future that gives direction to your present. Without it, life becomes a journey without a destination. You are moving, but you don't know where you are going. And the tragedy is that movement without direction wastes energy, time, and opportunity. Vision is what separates dreamers from drifters. A dream is what you see while asleep. But vision is what keeps you awake at night, pulling you toward a greater tomorrow. Yet vision alone is not enough. It must be coupled with planning. Too many people talk about what they want to achieve, but never take the time to map out how they will achieve it. They wish, they hope, they desire, but hope without a plan is nothing more than an illusion. Planning is a discipline of turning vision into strategy. It is taking a picture of the future and breaking it down into steps you can walk today. People who fail often underestimate the power of preparation. They start things with excitement, but quit midway because they never counted the cost, never calculated the effort, never structured their resources. Vision gives inspiration, but planning provides execution. When you fail to plan, you surrender your life to chance. And chance really delivers what purpose promises. A person without vision becomes a victim of other people's agendas. They end up building someone else's dream instead of their own. A person without planning may begin with passion, but they finish with frustration because passion without structure burns out quickly. Success is not accidental. It is intentional. Vision tells you what mountain to climb, and planning gives you the path to reach the top. Without both, you would either climb the wrong mountain or stand at the bottom, dreaming but never moving. Many people remain trapped in mediocrity because they are addicted to comfort. The comfort zone feels safe, predictable, and familiar, but it is also where dreams go to die. Nothing extraordinary grows in a place where everything stays the same. Comfort lulls people into routine, convincing them that stability is success, when in truth, it is often stagnation disguised as security. The danger of comfort is that it blinds you to possibility. You convince yourself that what you have is enough, even when deep inside you know there is more in you. You settle for a paycheck instead of pursuing your passion. You remain in shallow relationships instead of building meaningful ones. You stay where you are because stepping out seems risky. But what is not realized is that the greatest risk in life is refusing to take one. Every breakthrough requires leaving the familiar. Growth lives outside the boundaries of what is easy. It is in the challenge, in the stretching, in the uncertainty that your true potential is revealed. Those who succeed are not necessarily more talented, but they are more willing to step into discomfort and endure it until they master it. Comfort produces excuses. I'll try tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. What if it doesn't work? But excellence demands sacrifice. Progress always requires trading ease for effort, security for risk, and present convenience for future reward. If you keep choosing comfort, you will keep losing destiny. The truth is, comfort is never permanent. Life will eventually disrupt you, whether you like it or not. The difference is whether you step out by choice or are pushed out by circumstance. If you move willingly into discomfort, you grow on your own terms. If you wait for life to force you, you grow through pain. Greatness begins when you stop asking, what feels safe? And start asking, what is required of me? No one succeeds in isolation. Every destiny is connected to people, and yet many fail in life because they underestimate the power of relationships and mentorship. You can be gifted, intelligent, and hardworking, but if you surround yourself with the wrong voices, you will be misled. If you walk alone, you will miss the wisdom that could have saved you years of struggle. The people you allow into your life either sharpen you or weaken you. Some will drain your energy, distract your focus, and discourage your progress. Others will challenge you, correct you, and push you toward your potential. Failure often comes to those who refuse to discern the difference. When you ignore relationships, you ignore the very bridges that were meant to carry you into your next season. Mentorship is one of life's greatest accelerators. A mentor is someone who has already traveled the path you are trying to walk. They carry scars that can prevent you from making the same mistakes. They carry wisdom that can guide you when your vision is unclear. But many people reject mentorship because of pride. They think they already know enough, or they are unwilling to be corrected. Pride closes the door to wisdom, and without wisdom, failure is inevitable. Isolation may feel easier, but it is dangerous. When you are alone, blind spots remain hidden, and weaknesses remain unchallenged. Relationships reveal, refine, and prepare you. The right voices in your life can unlock opportunities, open doors you could never reach on your own, and call out the greatness you cannot yet see in yourself. If you ignore relationships and mentorship, you condemn yourself to unnecessary battles and delayed progress. But when you embrace them, you multiply your strength, shorten your journey, and ensure that you do not just start well, but finish strong. One of the most common reasons people fail in life is not because they lack talent, resources, or opportunity, but because they gave up too soon. Quitting is the graveyard of potential. Too many start with passion, but when the journey gets difficult, when progress feels slow, when results don't appear as quickly as they hoped, they abandon the very thing that could have changed their lives. Every worthwhile pursuit requires endurance. Success is never instant. It is the product of consistency over time. Seeds do not produce harvests overnight. They demand patience, watering, and care. But many walk away before the seed has time to break through the soil. They confuse delay with denial, not realizing that sometimes the waiting season is part of the preparation. Quitting too soon often comes from frustration or fatigue. But what people fail to see is that breakthrough usually comes right after the hardest struggles. The darkest hour is just before dawn. And many surrender in that very hour, forfeiting the reward that persistence would have delivered. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is often not intelligence or opportunity, but perseverance. Winners feel the same pain, the same setbacks, the same discouragements, but they choose to press forward one more time. They refuse to let temporary failure become permanent defeat. When you quit, you guarantee the end of your dream. But when you persist, even if you stumble, you keep the possibility of success alive. History remembers those who endured, not those who walked away. Destiny always belongs to the resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is simple. Most people fail not because life is against them, but because they sabotage themselves with small daily choices. They live without purpose, follow the crowd, bow to fear, waste their time, neglect growth, obey emotions, ignore vision, cling to comfort, reject wise counsel, and quit too soon. These are not accidents. They are habits. And habits create destinies. That failure does not have to be your story. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs, you are given another chance to choose differently. You can decide to live with purpose, to stand apart, to act with courage, to honor your time, to keep growing, to live by principle, to write your vision, to stretch beyond comfort, to walk with the right people, and to persevere until you see the promise fulfilled. You were not born to merely exist. You were created to impact, to build, to contribute, to leave a mark that cannot be erased. Do not waste your life repeating the mistakes of the majority. Choose the narrow path of discipline, focus, and resilience. No, because in the end, success is not about luck, nor is it about chance. Success is about choice. And the greatest choice you will ever make is to refuse to fail where others have fallen, and to rise fully alive into the destiny that was waiting for you all along.